Alrighty, I've got a quick tutorial on making headers and footers to be more dynamic. So each of our pages has this header up here, right? The sleep outside with the cart. So every index in our code has those header and footers. And originally we had them all hard-coded. So up here we would have had this in there. And if we wanted to change it at all, we would have had to change it on each and every page. So instead of doing that, we want it to be dynamic. So the first thing that we have to do is make this folder called partials here. And we're going to just take anything that's in that header right there, and we're going to paste it into our header HTML. And then we're going to take our footer and we're going to paste it into there. Let's get rid of those. After you've done that, go ahead and add an ID into your header and an ID into your footer so that you'll be able to call back to it. And we're going to do that for each of the HTML pages. So you'll also do that for your product pages at your index. Go and add that header and that footer. And in your cart, go ahead and make sure to add that header and footer ID. So after you have your HTML for your header and footer made in your parcels file, you're going to want to actually change this href. Originally it was a // I think. We're going to make that just a / so that that's the direct path into the cart. Otherwise, if you have it as a relative path, it's going to work from your index page, but it won't work from your cart page or from one of your tent pages. So make sure that's the full path rather than relative. Then after we've done that, we're all set to go ahead and start writing the code to generate these headers. So we're going to hop over to utilities. It's going to be a utility function. Last week we made our dynamic products, and we're going to take some of that code from it and we're going to reuse it. So instead of rendering a list with template, we're just going to render with template. We don't need to delete any lists. We don't need to do any mapping. So that's the first step, is to make this function here. In the assignment, it says to add a callback. So that's a parameter for data and callback, where if you have a callback function and some data sent in, it will run it. Right now, we're not going to be using that though. So all we're really doing with this function is just this line. We're saying parent element, insert a JSON HTML into position and template. So that's all this function is doing currently for us. Just that one line there. So the next thing is we need a load template function. And that load template function is going to grab our partials. It's going to grab that footer HTML and that header HTML. And it's going to return it as a template so that we can use it. And we want to make a function that we can actually call. This is the function we're going to call from any of our JavaScript pages for the index or the cart or the product pages. And when we call this function, we want to load a template. So this is going to call our load template function, and it's going to call for partials header and call for partials footer. Once it's loaded those, it's going to then render them. So it's going to call that render with template. It's going to pass it the position. In this case, we're going to do that document query selector for the ID main header, ID main footer that we just added in. And it's going to call those, or send those, and it's going to send the template, and then it's just going to insert it. And that's pretty much it. After that, you just hop over to your whichever your drivers are for each of your index. In this case, our index HTML is calling main.js, and all you do, load header and footer. That's it. Hop over to your JavaScript for cart, load header and footer, and hop over to your product JavaScript and load header footer. That's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. Some easy stuff today. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.